got Michael.
This man is drawing pictures of her. Oh my goodness.
Would you send that to me? Would you send that to me? I want to frame it and put it on the wall in my living room. You got it.
That's pretty good.
Richard.
This man is drawing pictures of everyone.
So I'm growling and he's all
Cool. Rusty.
So this is what you're doing. You're drawing pictures.
Get along.
Therese.
This man's drawing pictures of everyone.
You know what I think we ought to do? Janet.
Oh my, with my huge eyes. Oh my gosh. Oh my god.
Hey Janet, this calls for creating an anthology of every poem everyone read today with those photos.
I want those photos.
John,
Oh my
can you
gosh.
Send it
With
by
those
way
drawings.
of John.
I'll send them all to John.
Perfect. This man drew pictures of everyone for the open mic.
I didn't get to everybody.
Oh, yeah, you did miss one or two. Yeah, he says there's still time. I don't know if you have to run because you had to eat. I feel terrible. Do you have to run to eat?
I'll get a little nosh and come back.
Get a little nosh and come back.
I'll come back.
Vegetarian Janet says, come get a little nosh and come back. Okay. Well, I thank him very
Anyone
much.
who hasn't gotten their picture drawn yet cannot leave.
And maybe he'll draw pictures of absolutely everyone at this poetry open mic. That was awesome, and this first round was great, you guys. Thank you so much. I was going to read poems from in the second round from the most recent issue of the other magazine that I am the editor for, Down in the Dirt magazine, for March of 2022. It is titled Just a Few Butterflies. Just a few. These were from some town in Pennsylvania. I can't remember where. Anyway, but anywho, just a few butterflies named after some piece of writing that is in the issue, and I thought I would share with you. I would share 3, but I'm going to make it 4 because the first are going to be 2 Twitter-length periodic table poems, and I can cram them in, and I'm talking about them that they also happen to be released in this book. I could pull it up from this book to share that off first, but they're really tiny on this page because they're just 2 tiny ones, but because they're both related to boron, which is, I think, number 5 in the periodic table, I should be able to find them with no problem. Yep, there's one of them right now, and because this book has really huge photos, I can show it off there. But the first 2 poems are periodic table poems from the Twitter-length periodic table collection, but they're also from Down in the Dirt. This first one is called Boron's Birth. You were born so long ago in the universe's infancy, within 3 minutes after the Big Bang had begun, trace amounts born. Now you keep us strong, clean. You help the elemental giants that first formed make us, us. So, how can we thank you? Tough to fit these things within one tweet. So, but then I did have another one because I heard new details about boron, and it was about boron nitride, and it's boron nitride stretching. Photons, building blocks of light, are our quantum messenger. Quantum light matter interactions need finely tuned colors. Atomically thin hexagonal boron nitride stretches for the biggest color tuning ranges. So, change quantum lights like Christmas lights and watch the qubits glow. It's really crazy when you actually see how they work. So, and it's more science stuff, but those were your 2 boron references from this one. I am going to now change and go toward the back of the book and share with you 2 pieces of prose that are in here, haha. And this first one is titled Soybeans. Have you ever jumped in a vat of soybeans before? It's very strange. It feels like you're a kid in one of those playground things where you jump into a pit of colored plastic balls. Except soybeans are a lot smaller than those balls in the playgrounds, and I guess they don't have all those colors. Oh, well, anyway, I went over to his grandparents' farm, and he decided to take me on a tour of the farmhouse. The cows were smelly. I made sure I kept my distance, and then I just kept calling them, saying, "Hello, moo cow." And then we were a bunch of cats running around in the field. And then we picked up a couple of kittens and held them up high in the air. And I kept asking the cats, "Do you love me?" And he kept asking me why I was asking for approval from cats. And then he gave them some milk from his uncle's farmhouse, and then he took me up a ladder to the top floor of a barn. That's when he proceeded to take off his shoes and jump over onto a ledge. He told me to join him. I couldn't quite see what I was jumping into. It was almost dark, but I took off my shoes and socks and I jumped in anyway. And my ankles sunk into the soybeans. And I just started laughing. And I fell, and then I started to bury myself in soybeans. And then I jumped around a few more times, and then I started throwing soybeans at him. And then I just laid down in this pit of soybeans for a while. They felt cool on my skin. I could feel the dust from them covering my legs, my calves. There are times like this. Times when I just have to let go. Thing about soybeans. This is a weird thing. One more, and I said very, very short prose ones. This one is titled Fox in the Snow. Thrown into journalism mode, I pulled the car over when I spotted him. I mean, I was on a roll on this trek, photographing elk, bison recently, but this little creature, I have never seen a fox look so gold in my life. He was eating right at the side of the road, near the trees, so I pulled my car over, turning off my engine. He didn't move. I opened the driver's side car door very slowly. He still didn't move. I moved the car door to almost close so it didn't make any noise. I made sure my Minolta Maxim 5000 35mm camera was there, that same camera I used for my newspaper days for photographing girls, softball, and college men's baseball games, rock bands for fluff articles to fill photo pages for page 2. I made sure my camera was pressed firmly against my hand. You know, I always liked how the camera felt in my hand. I could just cup my hand right along the side, and it felt like its handle was almost made to fit perfectly into my hand, so my fingers were always pointed at the shutter button. But once I was out of my car, camera in hand, door out of the way, I started taking steps to edge toward the fox. He was only 7 feet away from me, but I didn't want to zoom more and lose anything for a quality shot. So I took a second step, and then a third. And then I was doing this to round the front corner of my car. This beautiful golden fox then picked up his head to look at me. I didn't move. As the two of us froze there, that moment, I noticed how perfectly golden he was. He looked like a stuffed animal, only more vibrant, more alive, and bigger than a stuffed animal, like a stuffed animal 2.5 feet long. This little beast was impressive, and he picked up his head from eating when he finally sensed me. After a moment, he turned and started leaping into the field to escape me. I started to follow. I forgot to mention that it was February. It was in Washington, and there was 5 feet of snow on the ground, 5 feet from the side of the road. And yes, I started sprinting after this fox as it leaped away in the snow. I charged into the snow after it. I thought maybe I can make it through the snow. It's freshly fallen, and it's still light. I can keep up. And I took 3 steps into this 5-foot-tall wall of snow, and I was pretty much stuck. So I stopped and watched this fox leaping in bounds, and every few feet I'd see his little golden head pop up from the snow before he looked to confirm the direction he was headed before his next subsequent leap. I watched him leap away for a minute, burning that memory of that golden fur into my skull before I trudged back to my car. Strange little stories, just for the end, little pieces of prose, because I have poetry and very short flash fiction in here as well, so thought I would give that instead of poetry. What do you know, Annie? So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and thank you very, very much. And yippee skippy, we're going to start on round 2, and that I really hope would mean that John F. McMillan would be able to take it over for us. So are you ready, my Zoom host, darling?